Hey, welcome all to Success Channel. Today we'll be speaking on mediation. We have distinguished guest speaker panel. So let us welcome them. We have Mr. Janender Chumbak. He is Managing Partner, Associated Law Offices, Delhi. He has more than 16 years of experience into civil criminal litigation as well as insolvency matters. We have another guest, Mr. Ambar Gupta. He is Head of Legal and Company Secretary for Aditya Birla Sun Life Insurance. He has 17 years of experience into regulatory, legal, compliance, secretarial, litigation, dispute resolution, etc. He has received various awards, including National Award in the insurance sector, General Counsel Award in the insurance sector. We have Mr. Subhash Shetty. I guess he has still not joined. We have Mr. Subhash Shetty. He is General Manager, Assistant General Manager, Legal and Compliance. He has 16 years of experience into litigation, non-litigation, as well as legal metrology. We have Mr. Rohit Salwan. He is experienced head legal, and he has actually led various legal teams of big size companies. And he has experience into recovery of amounts due, litigation, drafting, vetting of agreements, right? And specifically recovery related litigation. We have Mr. Pulak Gupta. He is head of procurement in Geo Financial Services. He has more than 19 years experience in this field, and he has actually negotiated a lot of stuff in relation to agreements with with his team, legal team. So he definitely be of help to us. And I am Abhijit Tople. I am head of legal in Geo Financial Services. I am looking into litigation, non-litigation, drafting of agreements, legal advisory, etc. So let us start. I would like to ask first question to Mr. Ambar Gupta. Sir, what is mediation, and is it really different from arbitration?
Thank you very much, Abhijit, for giving this opportunity. And welcome everyone. Actually, mediation, if you see in a very simple term, it's a process of dispute resolution process, which falls under the alternative dispute resolution process, where the parties try to resolve their dispute by coming together through a voluntary process and appointment out of a third-party neutral person called a mediator. This mediator typically helps and assists the parties in identifying the key issues, reducing these misunderstandings, clarifying positions, and helping them, the parties, to explore areas of compromise or settlement, so that there is a amicable settlement of the dispute, and parties do not typically go in the court. So it's an alternate dispute resolution process in a very simple sense. If you ask me to explain mediation, arbitration is, of course, is more legal proceedings. It involves the assistance of the court or the tribunal, which gets into towards the disposal of the dispute between the parties. There's a complete trial which happens under the guidance and supervision of the tribunal. Various laws, rules applies, rules of evidence comes into picture. There are pleadings, statement of claims, counterclaims. All those things comes to picture when it comes to arbitration. Mediation is more of an informal process, more of a guidance process, where the third-party mediator tries to help the parties to arrive at some settlement procedure, to help come and agree and solve their disputes in a very amicable, in a very soft type of process. In a very simple sense, if you ask.
Right. Mr. Janender, you have any input on this additional?
You see, mediation per se, what we see, it's a way where, arbitration we start when there is a legal issue, and there is a legal issue, we have to follow the legal process. But when we say mediation, like, there are options. Like mediation, one can be done through the parties when they sit together. You can resolve it by sitting together with the help of, and it's always appreciable that you do it with the help of the lawyers. A lawyer plays a very important role when mediation is concerned. And nowadays, the disputes are there. A lot of commercial disputes are there, which can be solved. But it's only because of the fact that there is some kind of an issue which, which they don't want to resolve. So when you sit together, it can be resolved, and a lot of time, cost, and everything of an organization is saved through a mediation process.
Right. So actually, I also have similar experience, particularly in NBFC and banks. This mediation is a routine method which is used for resolving disputes. Most of the borrowers, they take loan and then they don't repay. But then when they don't repay and this recovery team approaches them, a lot of time they don't repay. Legal has to play a role in that and then try to mediate and resolve the issues with these guys. Mr. Subhash, you have any opinion on this? You have any additional input?
Yes, Abhijit. I'm agree with what has already explained to us. In case of mediation, admittedly, it is a pre-litigation of the arbitration process. I feel that
We lost.
Team.
Subhash, your voice is not clear.
Team can be a good resource to.
Subhash, your voice
Hello?
is not clear. Your voice is not clear.
Hello, am I audible?
I think some network issue, Subhash, at your end.
Okay. Let us.
Can I say something?
Yeah.
Can I?
Yeah, Mr. Rohit.
So look, these two words, look, mediation and arbitration, as Ambar also says, and Janendra also speak on that. So these two terms are very, from a layman perspective, you say it may sounds very confusing because mediation and arbitration, what is the basic difference between these two terms? And simply defining, look, arbitration is more of an adjudication and mediation is a negotiation. So if you'll ask me, arbitration is a complete genesis and mediation is one of the species enter into it. So we can have a mediation within arbitration, but we cannot have a mediation. We cannot have an arbitration within mediation. So as simple as that. So we can play, some words of mediation within the arbitration proceedings, but we cannot do an arbitration within a mediation proceedings. If you see the origin of both the things, one is stemming from an Arbitration and Conciliation Act, and one is stemming from a typical civil procedure, legal ADR rules we have. We have civil procedure ADR rules, alternate dispute rules we have, resolutions rules we have, and there we have an first time we'll talk about the mediations. Court can also refer matters to mediations. Party themselves can come together and have a mediations also. In arbitrations also they can go to mediations. So mediation is one thing where, it's like a typical potato in all kinds of vegetables. You can find in the, typical, orthodox kind of, traditional way of litigations also. You can find mediations in Lok Adalats also. You can find a term of mediation in arbitrations also. So mediation is one thing, is a key which actually binds the entire thing. If you really want to settle a dispute, mediation is the key, and mediator becomes the key, and mediator can be anybody. So for me, mediation is a negotiation, and arbitration, it's typically an adjudication for me.
Okay. I'll
just add a little bit more. I'll just say, because, this mediation, when you club it during arbitration, because I've done a lot of arbitration matters, wherein, out of the, arbitration matters we initiated, 90% we were able to resolve through mediation.
Correct.
So rather than going it to the end, we initiated an arbitration, and during the arbitration, we initiate mediation.
Exactly.
And then all your cases are solved there and there only. I've done a lot of arbitration where I called all the company officials that you be present there, and of most of the matters, they were solved. So even if you have an arbitration, then ultimately you would go into award and then execution. It's a very lengthy procedure. But if you mix arbitration with mediation, then all your issues get resolved much before, and it's a faster way of resolving the issues also.
Okay, Mr. Ambar, do you use mediation as a technique to resolve disputes, and any example if you can give?
So, last couple of years, we have now standard practice of including a mediation as one of the clauses in the dispute resolution procedure, which is a pre-arbitration requirement. So the clause states that parties will resolve within so and so days. If they fail to, then it refer to mediation to be resolved. In case mediation also fails, it can move to arbitration. So from a statutory angle, because it's a private mediation procedure, it's not a court appointed, we have started using this clause in all my agreements. We have receiving very favorable response to these clauses as compared to earlier. especially like in Mumbai, most of the courts have also now have mediation benches or mediation procedures being attached. At least in Bombay High Court have Bombay Chambers of Commerce, and other similar courts will also have. We also now have started putting those clauses. As of now, thankfully, there are no much corporate disputes which has gone into that particular mediation procedure. But yes, in terms of preparedness, in terms of statutory right for mediation, we have these clauses. Some of the large insurance treaties that we do with the insurance companies like RGA, Swiss Re, and all other big names in reinsurance, where all these treaties also have a mediation clauses, which is a kind of pre-arbitration procedure. So in case, unfortunately, if some matter goes, definitely we will be happy to initiate a mediation procedure.
Okay, okay. Mr. Pulak, what is your opinion about mediation?
The main mediation is like it's a process to resolve the conflict. Now, it can be through mediation or arbitration. I feel that mediation is a non-binding process where arbitration is generally conducted with a panel of multiple arbitrators who takes on a role like that of a judge. Now, I also feel that mediation enjoys such high success rate, as I agree with Mr. Gupta. Mediation enjoys such success high rates because the parties are brought together in an environment where they can freely and confidentially represent or present their position in front of neutral third party. And mediation attempts to limit the issues and put them into proper perspective. Participants, normally often feel much better having an opportunity to get things on the chest and also benefit from hearing the others parties' point of view. The neutrality and more relaxed atmosphere of mediation has increased the popularity of resolving this conflict. And I feel that mediation is the first step to resolve the conflict between the two parties and all. I have used this mediation process in most of my conflict resolution first, where if I am the benefit party or my vendors is a benefit party, I always involve a mediator to get the things done. And I feel that is a faster resolution method for both the parties, and it's in interest of each other, basically. It saves time.
Okay. Mr. Rohit, what are the positives and negatives which you think are there in mediation?
Mediation, if you see, mediation can be as a tool we can use before litigation also, and we'll call it as a pre-litigation, typically pre-litigation mediations. So we have legal services authorities at the state level and a national level, which promote these kinds of mediations. So the parties can actually approach these authorities to enter into any kind of mediations. They can appoint a mediator for that matter. So those are called pre-litigation mediations. So that's a plus point. And before you get into the courts, before you get into the issue, you think if there is any possibility where the parties can sit together and resolve. So it's give you an atmosphere of a court. A mediator is sitting, he can listen both the parties and decides. That's one positive which I see, and which actually lessen the borders from judiciary also. If parties can settle the disputes before litigations also, I think that is one boon which I can see in the mediation in the form of pre-litigation thing. But the negative side or the downside of mediation is that it's non-binding nature technically, until unless it is not got a stamp of an adjudication authority. The awards or the order of a mediator remains it remains open to challenge by the party till it has not been adjudicated by, or not adjudicated, it has not been stamped by the judicial officer. Yes, it's binding now with both the parties. So that is one weak area is there. But yes, from finance industry, if I speak, low ticket size can like credit card, high volume, low ticket size matters can actually be dealt with the tool of mediation, and it's cost effective also, fast also, and it will give you better results. So pre-litigation is one thing which, from it. Yeah, please.
Just want to add one point. If you see the new Consumer Protection Act which has come, it has now made it mediation compulsory. And if you see the mediation rules, and it clearly says that if the parties have agreed for a mediation, and memorandum of settlement has been signed, then it is not appealable. So that is that gives it gives some kind of legal sanctity. Just to add what Rohit just mentioned, that if though now it has agreed, they have signed, they have agreed for a consent terms, then it gives a lot of legal validity. I think this gives a lot of comfort going forward whenever parties can do a mediation. Sorry.
Correct. In fact, the rules of these mediations typically on a commercial suits, as what the Amber said, yes, in the Consumer Protection Act new, they gave a leeway to a mediation with a better teeth to act on. But yes, in fact, you see the history of it. The rules of the typical mediation proceedings in a commercial proceeding. It says here any proceedings which is capped with a 3 lakh rupees, it has to be mandatorily it has to be mediated. But the only thing is that if there is no interim relief appointed, so people play with that also. Every commercial recover, any financial recovery petitions is always coupled with a 1 or 2 interim relief. So that spoils the entire purpose of the rules also.
Right.
Yeah.
Mr. Subhash, what is your opinion on this?
See, lot of, I think, mediation has basically started from labor law perspective. There is a mandatory provision of mediation. That way came to the knowledge of industry. As far as current scenario is concerned, not only financial disputes, lot of consumer disputes, lot of
Subhash, we are
disputes. There are stake filed cases. There are a lot of disputes between the company and their. Hello. Am I audible?
Subhash, your internet connection is not good. I guess we are not getting you.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
You go ahead.
Shut down your video and let it be on audio mode also.
You keep your video off. I think
that is consuming the bandwidth. You could keep the video off.
Yeah.
That will save.
Yeah.
Okay, we'll go back to Janinder. Janinder would like to understand what preparation you should do before mediation.
See, as regards this preparation is concerned, actually, in every case, what I can feel as a, litigation lawyer, then there is an element of mediation, an element of settlement in all the case, any case which is initiated. So what is the, initially I'll say you have to understand the case properly and what are the issues which has led to the initiation of these proceedings. See, take an example of these financial institutions. See, in all the cases, you have to be sure, okay, what is the case, how some background of the client, customer, the nature of the proceedings we have initiated, why, what is the loan granted, why there is a dispute, when he started defaulting, what is the reason for default, we should know, because we have to understand his problem also. If we understand his problem also, see, normally we have to take a thing that nobody wants to, into litigation. So he is also willing to get out this. So we have to tell him, we have to prepare, say, okay, let's take out this. We are also willing to close this. Let's come to the table. Let's discuss your problem. So there is always an element. So we have to prepare for that. We have to see the background of the case. And if we know that and understand the situation of the other party, then mediation can be a very helpful tool to, curb all the litigation.
Okay, Mr. Amber, your opinion, please.
Yeah, so actually, very important. It's very important for a mediator. And if you're starting the mediation, the very first thing you have to do who will be the mediator. And the mediator has to be an independent third party. So it's very important that there is no conflict of interest. So some of the preparations before you go into that, you have to ensure. So both the party must ensure that the mediator is independent, does not have any conflict of interest, it's unrelated. Second thing is maintaining confidentiality is very critical. So you may agree for some confidentiality agreement with the mediator. Now, once these basic requirements are completed and terms of reference are defined and all those things, as a mediator, if you look at the mediator, it's very important that mediator role should be more of helping parties and arrive a solution rather than itself imposing its own thoughts, its own. That's not the role of a mediator. So there should be very important opening remarks should be there from the mediator. In fact, there are a lot of soft skills which are required for a successful mediation. In terms of how you walk, what kind of dress you are, wearing. In fact, how do you enter? How you are asking parties to sit together? Because ultimately, it's a tension release procedure where the parties should see each other and should be released kind of thing. So there should be a clear, mandate in terms of what they arrive, understand, listen to both the parties, try to explain the other parties' position, help them arrive what are the strength point, what are the weakness of their position, and all those things, and then create an atmosphere where the parties themselves can come up with a solution, and then the mediator can help us to record consent terms in a form of a memorandum of settlement or kind of. So I think these are very critical elements in terms of the process of mediation which has to be followed. I have a little difference of opinion with Mr. Janendra, and upon that lawyers should be involved and they are the person who should lead mediation.
No, see, from a practical, what I've seen that, see, when you start things, there is, there are two entities. There is already a two. No, I'm just to say that entities were already in dispute.
Yeah.
So why this dispute? That is the reason. So you need somebody independent. You need somebody to understand why, there are two entities versus there are two entities who are already into a dispute. So you need somebody else to understand why the dispute. See the dispute from a different perspective.
I'm saying that there's no qualification who can be mediator. So as an in-house counsel, I think what I feel that apart from lawyers, there you can appoint anybody else also as a mediator.
Yes.
There's some understanding
and
somebody who comes with some good experience and all those. Traditionally, actually, if you see, mediation has been largely used in family of non-India. But I feel that with the signing of the Singapore Convention on Mediation, which is based on ancestral model law, last year in April, I think, and which India is also a signatory, mediation will definitely be seen as one of the major areas of pre-dispute, pre-litigation scenario in commercial agreement, cross-border issues, and also apart from other matters which is being looked into. So of course, so these principles need to be followed, whether it's domestic mediation or international mediation. And we said that 2 of my team members have completed international mediation course from university. So 2 of my team members are certified as a certified mediators within the legal team. So it's a great place to work with, a great future, provided it's followed in a letter and spirit.
So, just one same question in relation to advocate's appointment. I would like to understand: should parties bring their lawyers in mediation?
To whom you want to
maybe I'll just pick it up and then you can see. Traditionally, as of now, it is what is happening that yes, lawyers come because it depends on the nature of dispute. If you see the traditional sense, lawyers do get involved. Because again, it depends on what type of mediation. It's a court-appointed mediation or it's a private mediation kind of thing. If it's a private mediation, maybe at that point of time you may not need an advocate. Your business team, your in-house team can lead it. If it's a court-appointed, matter is already gone. So typically, lawyers, of course, Janin can add Mardhanpur and Rohit can add it. And that definitely lawyers do appear. They prepare help because sometimes if the matter is so complex, the mediator would like to understand, the facts. So the statement of cases might be required in terms to look at the other parties' views and all. So to help in definitely they can assist. But again, with the caveat that lawyers should not start applying the legal principles because traditionally mediation is not legal proceedings. It's, as I mentioned earlier, and everybody agreed that it's more of a arriving at a consensus-based process to agree on a settlement terms. So if you get into a legal aspects and other areas of jurisprudence, of course, then it was a party. Yeah.
Right, Mr. Rohit.
I agree with Amber. Yeah.
Mr. Rohit.
So I mean, just to add, sorry.
Sorry, Pulak. Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, so I
Sujat, you
agree
can
with
carry on.
Amber
You can
that
carry on.
I agree with Amber that the point is that the most certified mediators are attorneys, but mediators are advised not to give any legal advice during the mediations and are not supposed to make legal conclusion about the merits of either party's position basically. And when the parties come to an eventual agreement, the parties themselves will put the agreement in writing and signing it so that it then becomes a binding contract.
Right. Mr. Rohit, your view, please.
My, if you start, if you see the history of a mediation, means from the niche, if you see, when mediation was maybe not so popular term that point of time, mediation used to be initiated by on a volume basis. It is initiated at the advocate side only. Means how it is happening in the commercial contracts of large volume contracts. So before litigations, the company used to involve advocates only to do a mediation kind of camp, mediation camp, conciliation camp. It used to be a very, hit kind of process. I'm talking in, early, if you see, early 2000, if I see, late 90s, early 2000. So those were the time, a lot of conciliation camps were arranged, a lot of mediation things were happening, and it is all arranged by the advocate only. Obviously, there is a commercial which is involved into that, but that is not what if you compare with a typical traditional litigation. So yes, so if you see, advocates were actually the torch bearer, because I also started my career from active litigation, so I can speak from both sides, Amber, the advocate side and non-advocate side also. So those points, we used to arrange a lot of conciliation camps, and we actively participate in that also, for that matter. So the debate, advocate, non-advocate, it depends upon the nature of disputes also, nature, and depends upon the advocate to advocate also. It's a profession, everybody has their own way of doing things. So mediation, if you ask me, so yes, advocates were the first person who were the torch bearer to do all kind of conciliation thing or mediation thing, and which is cost effective also from client perspective, from a commercial dispute. If you say, when I'm talking, I'm giving an example typical of a credit card where we have ticket size is low, volume is big, so there is no point getting into litigation. So it's best that you get into the mediation sort of thing. And the advocacy in mediation is, I think, is one of the art of advocacy also. That's what I feel.
Okay. Mr. Amber, would you like to throw light on the behavioral aspect of the clients, how they should carry themselves before mediator?
Actually, clients, it is very important that they come with an open mind. That is a very, very most important thing, because ultimately the idea is to agree on a settlement terms without going to the court, without getting into the legal issues. So from the client perspective, as well as of a mediator also, the first thing is that they should come with a very open mind. They should be open to the communication. As I said, the opening meeting is very, very critical, because it is a tension release procedure where the parties who are not seeing eye to eye, they are being brought in a room, they have been sat across to each other. So it's very important that you come with a very open mind, listen to the other parties, come with a solution orientation mind. That I have to come to some amicable solution rather than sticking to his own position. There will be some giveaways that you have to, each of the parties have to release their positions to agree. But if each of them will remain strict to their own position, there's no mediation will be successful. At the same time, they should also be cognizant that if the mediation is not successful, it may go into litigation also. So from a technical point of view, that's why the reason in mediation, evidences and etc. are not read. So it's very important that these mistakes are not done, and you try to avoid bringing documentary evidence. It's more based on a negotiation, as Rohit also mentioned, more of a negotiation procedure and agree and arrive. So these are the very two important aspects which is there. My suggestion is that take your business team, take your in-house counsels, wherever possible, because they understand the subject, they understand the business in such mediation procedures. Take somebody senior guy who can take certain calls in that particular meeting, rather than delegating it somebody and junior guy, or bringing your lawyers there and they start negotiating in those areas. Try to avoid at the initial meetings and all these things. So these are my sides or my thoughts.
Mr. Janindra, you have any view on this?
See, because I think there is a consensus that lawyers are not that good at mediation. So let me tell you, this is something actually, mediation is something which is actually has come out of lawyers only. And then mediation is of two types. One is pre-litigation, one is post-litigation. And what I have seen from my experience is that mediation is becomes successful only when there are lawyers involved. Because a client also has a faith in his lawyer. So lawyer's role is also very important. So client listens to his advocate also.
So Janindra, our question is how parties should behave before mediator, and in addition to that, you can explain what is the role of lawyer also.
Yes, I'm saying they have to see when a party goes to a mediator, they have to there is no legal thing involved. When you have to forget about your case, what are the merits and demerits in your case, because that has not to be looked into in the case of a mediation. When you are into mediation, merits are not discussed. As it has already been discussed, there is no evidence led. There is already a confidentiality. You have to just go with a mindset that you are willing to settle it. Let's look at the way where it can be closed. If one is stuck at one point, let's see how far we can go to close it. So you have to go with a mind, not with a rigid mindset. You have to be very flexible when you're sitting in a mediation. Okay, because if you settle today, then a lot of your time, energy, and cost is saved. So you have to be very flexible when you go into a mediation.
So basically, we should bring only people who are calm and composed during mediation, right?
That's really required. Really required. And what the role lawyers play, what we have seen in our cases, the clients at times are not calm because they have been through this litigation, say for 5 years, 10 years, they have been there. They have at the back of their mind, I have suffered this. So the lawyers will come into this, okay, you calm down. You have already suffered 5 years, 10 years. If you continue with this litigation, you will suffer for another 10 years. So let's calm down. Let's look at a way where it can be settled.
Right.
Yes.
And who should attend
so
the
in fact,
mediation?
If you see the mediation course, it's 40 hours course which is there. I've seen that course. There is a dedicated session only on behavioral part on mediation and how do you walk, how do you wear, what kind of expression you have to bring in. So it becomes very, very, very important.
Right. And who should actually attend this mediation proceeding? Which department should actually go there? Amber would like to ask.
As I mentioned, I think very important that business teams are definitely involved in the mediation process. You need not take the entire janta with you. 2-3 people which are critical. If you are representing the client, you have an in-house counsel, definitely in-house counsel. The business team which are involved, they should go. Anybody who is senior also. Depends on what type of mediation it is, the nature, the quantum involved, the stakes which are involved. So largely 2-3 people, business team, in-house team should be there, and you can have a discussion, understand the position. That's what I feel, of course. Rohit and Janil.
Just to add to it, somebody who is actually take a decision on behalf of the company, somebody who can take a decision there. It's always better, yeah.
Right. Rohit, your view, please. Rohit. Pulak, your view on this?
Yeah, I agree that in the mediation part, from both the sides, the decision-making authority should be there, who agrees with the consultation or what mediator gives, and they should agree. And binding also. It should not be like that. A mediator is advising something and coming into a resolution, and both the parties agree. Then after one day they disagree. Telling that no, my nation is not agreeing to this. So it will be back to zero. So the authorities or the people who are participating in the mediation should have an authority from the management to accept whatever the decision comes or outcome comes through this mediation process.
Right. Right. Mr. Rohit, you have any view on this? Okay. Okay. We lost him, I think. Mr. Ambar.
Yeah,
He joined,
yeah.
he just joined.
Yeah.
Say something.
Hello. Yeah.
Yeah.
So I lost for a minute. I'm sorry. Yeah. What's the question?
Who should attend the mediation from
Hello?
parties? The question was.
Person, obviously, a person with an open mental mind should actually join, who really want to resolve the issue amicably, for that matter, who knows how to cover a distance a bit to close that, and maybe if need, maybe to go back and understand what is happening. And yes, like all my the peers said, yes, the dragging litigation is not going to serve anybody. Anybody means anybody. It's a waste of time for everybody, waste of money for, and money saves money, and what we understood in the finance industry. So the later and amicably the disputes are resolved, we'll get a better result out of it. So yes, person who has an open mental mind to settle it, he's only come forward to mediation and close it, not with a reserved mind. Reserved mind is not a the kind of thing we required for a negotiation. Negotiation require absolutely a person with a flexible bent of mind, in fact flexible approach also.
Mr. Ambar,
Yeah.
may we understand few strategies which you follow for mediations? Or we should always follow some standard strategies?
First, the strategy is to have a consent-based mechanism and mutuality. These are the very important aspect which has to be followed. Confidentiality is something which also as a strategy needs to be followed, which I mentioned in the start of the conversation also, because you are not going to lead any evidence. Please don't carry any documentary evidences and all those things. Try to have separate sessions with the mediator to understand the dispute to a much deeper level, and to have underlying issues of the other party through the mediator. That is also a good strategy to work on. Of course, the mediator will kind of strategize the entire process for the parties to look at it. So at the joint session, when the opening comments and the joint session happen, then separate sessions happens, and those negotiation and happens. Come with 2-3 options. That is a very, very important, because it is all because you are going to solve an issue. You have to arrive with an amicable solution. So it's very important that you have 3-4 options in place, which you can use as part of your strategy and coming at a amicable solution. Because of course there may be a possibility that 1 or 2 suggestions or option may not be acceptable to the other party, and vice versa. So have 3-4 options, 3-4 best options, A, B, C kind of thing, which you would like to work on. I think these strategies will help you successfully.
Mr. Janender, any view on this?
I think it has been already explained in detail. So apart from this, say from like in the mediation, they're from two sides. One is from the mediator side. They've already explained that there has to be two separate meetings with both parties. Just in this, because the mediator role is also important. He has to listen to both the parties separately, and then bring them together and see where is the bridge, where is the gap. So he has to bridge the gap. So for that, there has to be a separate meeting with both the parties. Then only we come to know what is his grievance and what is the grievance of the other party, and let's see how he can bridge the gap.
Right. Mr. Rohit,
Yeah.
you have any view on this?
Yeah, I agree with both Janendra and Amber for that matter. But before mediations also, I think which case has to be actually pushed through into mediation is also one of the strategies that we need to choose. Though there is always an element of settlement, all kind of disputes, but if you statistically if you see the matters which have been successfully mediated, other matters which does not have a low stake, but maybe it's more of a ego tussle from a party, that kind of matter. Or if you see, yes, the stake of matter has to be low, means the amount should not be involved on a higher side. There should not be very complicated matters which needs to be decided for that matter. So those are the matters which are actually really pushed into the mediations before getting into the litigation. And yes, once those matters are into the mediation, there are strategies which I'm absolutely agree with Ambar and Janendra for the matter. So, there is, some middle path has to be arrived by the mediator and both parties also. Mediator can also give them can only give them an option, but obviously party has to, take their steps and come forward to negotiate it further. Yeah.
Yeah, Mr. Ambar.
But I disagree with you, Rohit, on this, that only small matters can go to mediation. In the career of litigation, we have seen that mediation is a process where any matter can go. We have seen a lot of very big getting settled in mediation. So it's not a case where only small matters can be settled.
No, I am not saying. I said I open my remarks stating there is always a element of settlement negotiation in all the matters. But statistically, if you see, the matter which have been successfully mediated are the matter which are low stake actually. They're the low hanging fruit, so you can actually. It's very easy to also that I am coming from that matter also. Otherwise, any matters can be pushed into the mediation. There is no harm in it. Yeah, but success ratio, if you see statistically, only the low hanging fruits are very easy to mediate also.
Yes. That's correct.
So, Mr. Ambar would like to understand success stories where you mediated and got resolved that dispute.
We have clauses, but fortunately or unfortunately, you can say whatever. We have not got the mediation invoked as such, either for or against. Some of them during COVID times, we have seen those opportunities actually, but thankfully it all got resolved during on phone calls or through discussion itself.
So it's kind of phone calls is actually in kind of mediation only. So you got involved.
Yeah. So one or two cases this gets involved because the party has a. Rohit also mentioned and Jalin also mentioned the stakes involved has to be seen, the long-term relationship parties. So those cases is issues. There are vendor issues which comes and sometimes we get emails of threatening emails, but mostly they get resolved. But no, as of now, not have any practical experience of dealing in mediation. And at least Jalin can add. I think he's been doing a lot of mediation. Sure.
Correct.
So before Mr. Janendra, we'd like to understand from Rohit, he's an in-house counsel, and so from in-house point of view, whether you were a mediator somewhere and then got resolved some issues.
On a volume, my experience again is, when it comes to a volume game, you will see a success and you can measure it also, in the numbers and statistically you can do that. And I think I and Janendra also. During those days, we have done a lot of media camps also successfully also. But again, I am saying I am of the same opinion. Yes, to succession it has to does not have a very high stake for that matter. Because complicated matters, they have a very rigid bent of mind. They are not going to settle it because they come for a litigation. I have seen litigants also, if an advocate advised them to mediate or to conciliation, he says, Mr. Advocate, I have hired you for litigation. If I need to mediate, I would have mediated outside the court only. So I don't need you for mediations. People have those kinds of, the mindset also. So there are success stories, but there are very mix of on a volume means you can't single out it. Maybe Janendra have something on his cuff, which is we can love to discuss and hear it.
Yeah, Mr. Janendra.
Large stake, high stake mediations.
See, I think mediation, I personally do a lot of mediations, and that too from, for us, that comes mainly post-litigation. So mediation. So whenever a matter is there pending, we also see, like if we see that there is an element of, settle your client and tell him, see, the dispute is only small. It can be settled. So we always try. Like take an example, a matter came to us which was pending for 15 years. It was a property dispute which was there for 15 years pending between a builder and the owner. And it was a very posh colony, when the dispute started, the proper value of the property was say around 50 lakh. And now the value of the property has become 35 crores. and the dispute is still subsisting. And the parties were so hell-bent against each other that they don't want to settle. They want to teach the other party a lesson. So we were able to make them sit together. And it was not through directly sitting together. We routed this through a mediation center. Nowadays, in all the courts, there is a mediation center. And the good part of the mediation center is that whatever settlement that you arrive at in the mediation centers, it has got the sanctity of the court, and they are binding on the parties, and these are not appealable. So even if we always try that the matter is settled through this mediation route of the court, because whatever you agree, that is binding on the court, and that again is not appealable, whatever you agree. And by 5-6, it took us 5-6 sittings, but in 6 sittings we were able to bridge the gap between the parties. The ego between the parties, that was all gone, and this 15-year-old dispute was settled in 3 months. It was, which would have taken another 15 years. So at times, it is very helpful for the parties also. And apart from this, yeah.
So there is a saying, there is always a charm in an initial litigation. When litigation is, there's a lot of excitements are there in both the parties. We'll fight, we'll see each other in the court. What happened over a period of time, lot of water flows. They're all grievances, they're all wounds, they're all egos also washed away during that period. So what Jalendra is saying is absolutely correct. 15 years is a long time to settle down their egos also. Their excitements has also been settled down for that matter for litigation, and they also realize there is no fun in litigation also. So it's kind of boring thing for them also. It's better to settle than.
Because here the role of lawyer is important to make them understand. No, it's no fun.
I agree.
So basically, gist of the matter. Basically, gist of this discussion is parties should do their own business instead of fighting litigation with each other. Mediation is the best way to resolve all the disputes. Advocates or other people can also be a mediator and can resolve the issues. The people should be calm and composed for resolution of the disputes.
Yes.
So thank you very much everyone for joining Success Channel and sharing your views and guiding people. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Yeah. Thank you.
Thanks. Bye.
Thank you.